lake jumps are officially happening in the city of Seattle. Summer has arrived, and that is great news for the city. It is our favorite time of year. Lake jumps are in full effect. Also, the real estate market is in full effect. So in this video, we're going to discuss a monthly market update for June 2023. So stay tuned because we're going to get you dialed in. Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Matthew Chapman and I'm a local realtor here in the greater Seattle area, and I specialize in helping savvy sellers who want to sell right and who want to sell smart, as well as working with buyers looking to relocate to this region, which there are plenty of them. And I specialize in helping people that are first-time home buyers or just want to move into a bigger, better home. So if you're new to my channel, please just take a moment and click subscribe, because that way you're going to get notified of any new content. You could also follow me on Instagram at Chapman Homes HQ for more up-to-date content. That would be great as well. So like I mentioned, in today's video, we are going to discuss a monthly market update for June 2023, and we're going to get you dialed into what you need to know in regards to interest rates, in regards to a home buying process. So stay tuned. So first off, we need to look at the Seattle region as a whole, and that is divided into two areas. One is Seattle proper, which is the 50 neighborhoods that make up Seattle. Then there is the east side neighborhoods, which are really the suburbs east of Lake Washington, which you're talking about Bellevue, Redmond, Issaquah, Kirkland, Woodinville, and a whole host of other suburbs there, Sammamish as well, Bothell. And so those have two very different statistics. And so we're gonna look at the east side first. And if you look at the east side, the median home sales price for May 2023 was $1,450,000. That actually hasn't changed at all since last month, but it has changed since last year at this time, which was $1.59 million. And that means that sales are actually down from a year ago about 9%. So last year at this time, 68% of the homes were selling above asking. And this year, on this current month, about 43% of the homes sold above asking. So it's still great news, not as robust as last year, but the market is still really healthy here. And we have only 1 month's supply of inventory. So that just means it is a seller's market right now. The Seattle market, if you look at the Seattle market, let's look at that. The median home sales price for the 50 neighborhoods that make up Seattle was $905,000 and some change. So that's for this month, last month of May. If you compare that to last year at this time, it was $1,025,000. So that is actually a decrease of about 12%. So 9% decrease on the east side and 12% in the Seattle market. Now continuing to look at the Seattle market, last year at this time, 68% of the homes sold above asking. And just last month, we had about 35% of the homes selling above asking in the Seattle market. And we had only about 1 month's supply of inventory. So still a seller's market in Seattle as well. So now let's talk about what is truly happening in the market. So what is truly happening in the market? Well, first off, homes just last December, only about 6% of the homes were selling above asking last December. Now we have about 43% of the homes selling above asking. So the reason for that really is the lack of supply. There is just record low inventory happening right now. And why is that, you might ask? Well, if you're a seller and you're sitting at a 2-3% interest rate, why would you want to sell when you are going to be moving towards a 6.5%, perhaps even 7% interest rate? They would not want to do that. So they're holding on to their properties. That's creating this lack of supply. The only reason sellers are selling their homes is because life always dictates real estate. So maybe people are going through a divorce, maybe they're downsizing because they're moving out of their home that they've had for years into a retirement home, or maybe they had a new job and they have to move across the country. Those are the primary reasons why people are selling right now. What we're not seeing happening is inventory being freed up because people want to move into a bigger and better home, because it is simply too expensive for the average consumer to do that right now. But the reality is that interest rates, even though they are high, high. This is the new normal right now. We're not going to see them go back down to 2 and 3%. And buyers are starting to realize that this is the new normal. And so they're coming back to the markets and they are looking for homes. And so that's what's happening right now. And that's why we've seen this increased competition in the market. But we expect that to cool down just a little bit in the summer months, because in Seattle, in the summer, people are busy doing other things. They are out playing in the water, they're out camping, they're on vacations. Their mind is on other things than real estate. The other thing that we're seeing happening right now is that buyers are starting to feel the competition, and they are getting prepared ahead of time because they know they got to be ready if they find their dream home. And so we're seeing them get not just pre-approved, but we're seeing them get underwritten approved, which is very wise for buyers to do. And that means their file has been scrutinized by the underwriters. It's not just a pre-approval. It's actually, when they get an underwritten approval, it means that it's almost a guarantee that that loan is going to fund, and that makes the deal much more attractive to the seller. And that actually helps the buyer stand out amongst the competition, and that helps their offer get accepted if they are competing against multiple offers. So that's what we're seeing right now from the buyers, because they are feeling the competition. So I want to talk a little bit more about what we're seeing in the market as realtors, because we tour a lot of homes, and what you need to know is it's not as all doom and gloom as the national headlines would have you believe. So there is actually a robust market here happening in the greater Seattle region, and there's micro markets within that, and you really have to be attuned to what's happening neighborhood by neighborhood, in some cases street by street. And now more than ever, the market is very unpredictable. You can have multiple offers happening, and then the next week you could have homes lasting on the market for a little bit longer than they should. And so there are opportunities for buyers out there, especially if the home has been on the market 8 days or more. That is, we're finding a great opportunity for a buyer to come in and be able to negotiate with the seller and perhaps even get below asking price. So if you are a buyer, one of your strategies might be is to look at those homes that have been on the market for 8 days or longer, because then there most likely will be less competition. But if you see that home that you fall in love with and it's been on the market less than 8 days, then you need to have your game face ready and be ready to compete, because that in fact might just have multiple offers. And there's a lot of things you can do to set yourself aside from the pack. And message me and I would love to share more about that with you. So the next question I'm getting right now from buyers is, Matt, when is the best time to buy? So let's talk a little bit about that. So what does this mean for you if you are a buyer out there? What does all this information mean about multiple offers, interest rates up, and when's the best time to buy, how to be ready to get the house of your dreams? Here's what this means for you. Buyers, you need to get with your realtor and do a buyer's strategy assessment, because that is going to be key for you. And what your realtor will do is they will sit down with you and they will assess what is actually going to be the best situation for you. And you can't look at sales that have happened a month ago. You actually have to look at the current data, the pending sales. I can advise you on this, set you up for success, and to really help you land the home of your dreams, so you're not wasting your time. You're not going to have to pay more money later in this scenario. Buyer's assessment strategy is going to be a real key component for your success as a buyer. And in my opinion, it's never too early to do that, even if you're gonna look at that house a year out or so. So historically, in the greater Seattle region, the best time to buy is actually in August and December. Why August, you might ask? Well, August is a great time to buy because the inventory is actually still relatively high compared to the month of December, and people are still listing their homes in the summer. And a lot of sellers actually think the summer months in Seattle are the best time to list, when in fact the spring is the best time to list. So we still see a lot of inventory coming out in the summer months, but the thing that's great for you as a buyer is that buyers are actually kind of on the sidelines in the summer, especially August, because they're out camping, they're out vacationing, they're getting ready for the school year, their mind's on other things. So that's when you can swoop in and sometimes be up against less competition and get the house for less money than you would have paid in an earlier or later month. So August would be my time to tell you to buy. The other piece of advice I would have for buyers out there is to marry the house and date the rate. You've heard me say this before if you followed me, but the house, you want to take your time, you want to make sure you're picking the right one and that it's going to be a great home for you or a great investment, and you want to date the rate, meaning this is not going to be your interest rate forever. Yes, they're in the 6.5%, give or take right now, but within a year or two, we're expecting them to go down, maybe even sooner. We don't have the crystal ball, but industry experts experts are predicting these are not going to be the interest rates forever. Most likely you're going to be able to refinance, and that's when you're going to date the rate and marry the house, because your interest rate will change, but the house that you're going to be in will most likely outlive your interest rate. So if you've got questions about the market or you're considering buying or investing here, my team and I, we would love to assist you. So feel free to reach out. You can find me at chapmanhomeshq.com on my website. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.